A vote on an Ogle County rodeo venue known for hosting events that sparked concern from animal rights advocates took an unexpected turn Tuesday night. County leaders were expected to vote on canceling a special use permit for Rancho La Esperanza in Rochelle. Now, the venue's owners face criticism surrounding how animals were treated during rodeo-style competitions. Miriam Niesmeyer joins us after talking with animal advocates, and county leaders also tell you, Miriam, why they hit pause before making that final decision.
County board members say new information provided by Rancho La Esperanza raised questions about whether the property owner may have followed conditions tied to that permit. Animal advocates tell me they left Tuesday night's meeting feeling frustrated after expecting county leaders to move forward with a vote.
I think most of Ogle County was expecting a decision today to permanently revoke that permit.
Tuesday evening, the Ogle County Board discusses if it should revoke Rancho La Esperanza's special use permit. Last week, a county committee recommended canceling the permit because the property owner may have violated some of its conditions.
It was pointed out that perhaps some of those conditions weren't met, and because those conditions were alleged to have not been met is why they looked at revoking it. Since then, we've gotten additional information that they may have lived up to those conditions.
Ogle County Chairperson Bruce Larson says Rancho La Esperanza owners will get a chance to come before the board and share evidence that they followed the rules.
We have to make sure we do due process, that everybody's had a chance to give equal representation before the law.
For months, animal rights advocates push county leaders to take action. They claim some rodeo events involve inhumane treatment of animals.
It's clear that it's animal abuse.
Animal activists say they documented steer tailing at Rancho La Esperanza's rodeo.
And then you see the steers running over and over, and then they pull the tail off, and you see blood coming out, and you see them tripped, and then they stumbling off.
Steer tailing is common at Mexican-style rodeos used for entertainment.
Understand that they're steers and people may feel different about them, that they maybe do about dogs or cats, but